2, 1. Hello, everybody. If you are joining us on YouTube, let us know that you can hear me, you can see me. Where am I, actually? And I'm going to say hi to all of our friends joining on the dial-in on the Talk Power BI Special Pass. And that is our Learn Power BI family. Ooh, there we go. All right. So let's see who we got on the phone. I see Jurg. I hope I'm saying your name right. I see Dawn. I see Ed. And I see Kara or Kara. You guys can correct me if needed. Awesome. Hello and welcome, my friends. Let's see who's hanging out with us on YouTube. Come on, guys. Don't be shy. Say hello. Today is the dashboard, showcase, and makeover. Ooh, actually, YouTube crowd. You guys are awfully awfully quiet. So let's see. That's kind of weird. All right, we will have folks join in. So today we have the dashboard showcase, and we have entries submitted from Jean-Mario, Hamir, Harpreet, Jawad, Matthias, Noreen, Prakash, and Shravan. So first of all, if any of our students who are on the phone, Don, Ed, Jurg, and Kara, if you had, well, actually, your name don't seem on this list, but just in case, if you had submitted, or even if you hadn't submitted earlier, but you do have a dashboard that you would like to share, then we'll start there. Otherwise, on YouTube, if you folks are on, any of you are on, then let us know and say, I don't know, say something like, I don't know, put your name. Sometimes the YouTube screen name is different. So put your name so I can match you up, and we will start with that. Or maybe, to kick things off, we will start. Let me take a look at some of these. I think, which one did I like? Harpreet had sent in something. So let's start there. Oops. All right, so Harpreet is saying, not really a business dashboard. Designed this while working as a data visualization. So yeah, that's a Shark Week or something. Okay, we'll pass up. I love dashboards, business dashboard. So we will probably get to it later. Prakash had sent a hotel booking. All right, so we are getting some hellos from YouTube. Good to have you guys on. I'm not seeing any of these folks yet. Again, if you're there, give me a holler so that I can start with your dashboard. But I do want to say hello to Arun, Nish, Joe Ferreira, Mohammed, Sway, Georgie, Atife. Hello, Atife. Atife is from Montreal. GR Makers is here. Vijay Prasad is here. Results for last week. Ooh. Sounds like a Q&A thing. Midsummer stays hello. All right, folks. So good to have you on. Let's start with Prakash Ananthaiya hotel booking dashboard. How about that? Oops. So let's cue that up. Hotel booking dashboard. All right. So let's go to OBS. And that's not quite right. Let's see. Yep, there we go. All right, so hotel booking dashboard, and where is it? It's over here. Oh yes, man, give me business data. Always gets me excited. So let's do this. And what was I gonna do? I was gonna say. Perfect. All right, guys. So, you know what? before we start, just a few announcements. Where's my window? Not here, not here. Wow, where did I close it? No, it is right here. So, well, if you've been following us, you know that Learn Power BI enrollment is open right now. This is your chance to join the Learn Power BI family. And if you haven't seen, definitely check out the Wall of Inspiration. That's kind of where I go if I want to feel inspired, because it has some amazing stories. And folks, I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, feel blessed to be a small part of the success of these amazing people. But yeah, kudos to their courage, their determination, perseverance, all of that to kind of step up, because a lot of times when you think about doing something, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that would be a good idea. Oh, I should have done that earlier. Well, there are only two best times to plant a tree: 10 years ago, then you could be enjoying the fruit right now, or today. So today's your chance. In fact, today is your last chance to join Learn Power BI family in this enrollment. It has been open since Monday, and it's closing tonight. So yeah, check out the wall of resources and you just go to learnpowerbi.com, and right up top is you just put in your email address, click this button, and that's the way to get your invite to Learn Power BI. And again, general enrollment is going to be closing tonight. So that's one. And the other thing that I wanted to say was, so of course, where are we? What is the dashboard thing? So for the dashboard showcase and makeover, I always believe in that you can't just, the way to succeed in this day and age is you can't just rely on good work. You got to do good work and tell great stories. So that's why we're here. I'll admit this is primarily a platform for Learn Power BI students, because they can join on the phone, they can share their screen, they can verbally tell their story, right? So that's what we love doing. But of course, our YouTube followers is as well, and there is a bit of kind of showcase and makeover where we give you some feedback on this as well. So that's a bonus. But guys, I really believe in this. I think that's when my career started to change, and when I started to look around, this is the common thread that I saw between those people who were being successful. It wasn't those folks who knew more DAX or who were smarter or harder working. None of those things, right? I mean, yeah, so if you have been doing all of that and it's working for you, great, good for you. But if you have been doing that and not getting the results that you want, then consider a different approach, right? So if you have been working hard, right? And that's what I did, because I didn't know any better. And you have been, learning and, learn this, get this degree, get that degree, get this certification, get that certification, buy this book, watch this video, join this course, all of that sort of stuff. That's all good, but it may not lead to success. There is this step that you might be missing, which is needed in this day and age. So that's what today is about. And the last thing I'll mention is our scholarship. And for those who are really following me, know that I set this goal at the beginning of the year to climb 100,000 feet and donate money to a cause that I believe in. But I am close to 75,000 now. I think I've done 75,000 feet, and that's been an incredible journey, but that has inspired me to go beyond. And really what we're seeing is that we want to set up 100,000 feet and not just donating money to charity, but basically running Learn Power BI scholarships and helping the causes we believe in, right? So we're kicking that off with kind of a beta, and that's open right now. You can just go to learnpowerbi.com/scholarship. I'll say that since this is the first time we're kind of doing it this way, because this is not just scholarship, this is going to be one-on-one mentoring directly from me. Not one-on-one, but in a group setting. This will be a small group. So since we're doing it for the first time, it is going to be a small group. So obviously we're going to look for folks who are kind of in need, kind of in that situation, and we're going to evaluate all the submissions and select a very small number of people from here. So that's one route if you want to go there. But otherwise, again, Learn Power BI enrollment is open. We would love to welcome you to the family. Just go to learnpowerbi.com and enroll there. All right, so that's enough for the intros. Let's go to the dashboard, showcase, and makeover. All right, so here we are. Let's see if you got any new hellos. Oh, Papa Chaudhry is here. Always good to see you, my friend. What is the cost of the course? So join the waitlist, and that will give you all the information. That'll give you the sign-up link. You can go there. You can read all about it. The course, different payment options, all of that. Yeah, India, so far we have, sorry, I mean, yeah, at this point, we don't really offer a discount based on geography. We do have a lot of students from India and everywhere else. Yeah, I would say check out the waitlist, check out the information on the course, and then you can decide. Okay, so let's do dashboard, showcase, and makeover, and we were talking about Praskash, Ananthaiya, and let's I was trying to do something here. Okay, there we go, and perfect. So Prakash, first of all, thank you for sending this dashboard. And again, hopefully this is the first step in your journey to not just be doing good work, right? Because that's a good way to stay stuck in data dungeon, but tell great stories. Show your work internally within your organization, right? I mean, in your team, outside of your team, anybody do brown bags, lunch hour, whatever, and then start sharing your story outside, right? And in this forum, in LinkedIn, whatever works best for you, right? And there's always a way. So sometimes people are like, oh, Avi, I work in healthcare, I have sensitive data, I work for NASA, whatever. And trust me, has there anybody been in healthcare who has written a book or talked about their work? They have been, right? So find a way. And of course, if you go to learnpowerbi.com/dashboard, we give you the simplest way. And in here, there's a link somewhere is like, oh, but I have sensitive data, and we have the answer for you right there, of course, in video format, right? So it's going to show you how to do it. All right, so first thing we always do is we do a squint test. So I'm going to start there. And I'm just going to kind of squint my eyes. I'm just trying to maximize this window here. And I'm going to kind of squint my eyes and see what pops out at me first, right? So the first thing that popped out at me was the hotel booking dashboard, this title, and these graphs. Why? Well, this one is pretty big and bold. I mean, there's a lot of use of color, dense color, and it's right at the top. And of course, we've talked about how do we scan anything. Well, we all scan in this Z pattern or zigzag pattern. Why? Because we read this way. And that's kind of built into us, programmed into us by, I don't know, by the time we're 5-year-old or something like that. So we always scan that way. I don't think it's genetic or anything, because it can't be genetic, because in cultures where they read in the opposite direction, they scan differently. So for Arabic, they would scan this way, because again, they're programmed to read that way. So this one is kind of prominent, squint test. This kind of was big and bold, and these guys were big and bold, and these were big and bold. Actually, they're in a low priority position, but they're so big, right? Just the size wise, right? So yeah, I mean, hey, I guess size matters when it comes to dashboard, right? So so that's kind of good. First impressions, it does look very clean. It does look very visual. Now, I know, and I've suffered the same thing, folks, but I think some of you might be out there on the YouTube as well. If you're ready to confess, then we can, do the confession together. That I started out, and a lot of my dashboards were just a bunch of tables, right? I mean, and I worked with Excel folks and finance folks, and sometimes there's that tendency. It just looks, like, I don't know, Excel plus plus or something. It doesn't look like Power BI. This one, I like it. I really like it. I mean, kind of visually, it kind of looks pretty, looks nice. There's a little bit of a layout here. So of course, the power pattern that I talk about inside my course. And I think there's a YouTube video as well where I talk about high-level numbers at the top, and then some details and breakdowns. High-level numbers at the top, then some breakdowns and trends, and then a little bit of detail. Not too much detail, right? And usually detail I save for later. Now, what do I mean for later? Again, remember this, the way in which we scan is in this direction. So the later for me usually is this corner right here, right? So that's later, or sometimes kind of in here as well. And again, inside my course in the Power Pattern video, you can see a sample dashboard that I've built. Maybe I'll bring it up just so we can reference that. So, so I see that here. I see high-level numbers. I do see kind of a trend, I would say. Although typically, I would use line charts. There are definitely breakdowns here by market segment, by hotel, by agent, right? So breakdowns are here. I'm not sure. Well, this is geographical map, so that's kind of a breakdown, I guess, by geography. It is a breakdown, and then a little bit of detail, kind of numbers. And again, folks, the detail you want to save for later, because if you think about the time it takes for humans to process, it's insanely large compared to a visual, right? So visuals, we can see insights, like, I can see this guy's really high, this is green due to some reason, I'm not sure why. But yeah, it catches my eye. So clearly, Prakash here is trying to, I don't know, put my attention to this and this maybe. But this one, we have to read it serially. Now, it can be powerful, so that's why having details, tables, and matrices, I'm not saying don't do that, but, use it judiciously, right? So use it smartly. So I like all of that. So yeah, beautiful. And let's just take a quick glance at the other one. This one seems like a detail page. All right, so this is just for analysis, so I wouldn't spend too much into it. I don't think that this is about visual design. We'll stay on this one. And here, so let's see if we can find some feedback to make this even more awesome for Prakash. So again, in the squint test, this was prominent, but again, you want the data to be the star of the show. Yeah, it is the real star. So yeah, I mean, do you really need that big a title? Actually, you know what? I will bring up my my dashboard just so I can use that as a reference, right? So yeah, so generally the rule is that there are data pixels and non-data pixels, and you should treat this as if it's a piece of real estate, and every pixel costs you money, a lot of money. I don't know, $1, $1,000, $100, whatever, right? So every pixel costs you money, and you have to spend that money judiciously. So you have to, right? And the darker the pixel, the more money. So you don't want to spend the money on non-data pixel, right? So think about this. This fill color, this is non-data pixel. This borderline, boy, that's really expensive because it's such a bright color, right? Your dense pixel, that's expensive. So, I'll say this is the first thing I would recommend to fix, right? So just lighter touch is okay. It's not data. It's not the star of the show. As long as it's somewhere there and it can communicate to them, that's good enough, right? So so that's the first thing I would change. And I think, I don't know, there's something about this. I feel like these guys are too big. And by the way, so again, I'm a Stephen Few fan, and he talks about why pie charts and this donut chart is if you ask me, it's a worse form of pie chart. Why they're not effective as other visuals, and why we should try to avoid them, right? So, and to give you a quick version, so think about, again, we've talked about how this is real estate, and every pixel is $1, and you want to be careful how you spend your money. So when you want to maximize the return on your investment, right? You're an investor, you're investing in every pixel. You're looking for visuals which are compact, which take less space and communicate more information or more accurately, right? That's what you're looking for, right? Bang for the buck. Now, pie charts are bad in both senses. They take up a lot of space. They're kind of bulky, right? And they're not as effective. Human beings are really bad at reading pie charts and donut charts. And in fact, they're not just bad. The worst problem is that we don't even realize how bad we are. So we think we're okay, but we're not. So anyway, right? So that's my quick version. I just wanted to give you an example of kind of the power pattern that I talked about at the beginning. Again, it's in my course, and I think it's on YouTube as well, which is again kind of again, title, see, kind of subtle. It's there. It's enough that they can see it, and of course, it's kind of in a prominent location. You don't even have to keep it in the prominent location. Sometimes I put it somewhere else. But then we have the high-level numbers, we have the breakdowns, we have the trends, and then the detail, right? And logos and stuff, again, non-data, so you want to deprecate it as much. So here, I would say this one do something. And again, whenever you use a pie chart, always consider something else. So see something else and see how does that look? How does that work? So I'm just gonna, and thanks Prakash for sending this as a PBIX file so we can, play with this a little bit. So again, look at this. This is, man, I mean, this is, I'm doing a lot. And frankly, with the pie chart, it's kind of a crutch, right? I mean, if you're using a label, you kind of want the users to read that anyway. So let's try this with a simple column chart. And wow, and you can add the labels, but notice here, so this one, man, even if I make it very compact, it still works, and that's the power of the simple elements. By the way, so of course in the power pattern, I generally do favor simple elements. So tables and matrices, column charts, bar charts, and line charts. That's about it. And of course, if you see here, that's all it has. And tables and matrices are text elements, so card, tables, matrix, and so forth. All right, so come back here. Let's try the same thing with this one. So I'm going to make this a bar chart. Let's see how that looks. Bar chart. Yeah, all right. So again, I mean, as far as theory goes, these are better than pie charts and donut charts. If you have a good reason to use pie chart and donut charts, by all means. But again, whenever you stray from best practices, whether it's from dashboard design or whether it's for Power BI modeling, then you should be able to explain that. It should be a conscious choice, right? You should, if somebody asks you, like, hey, why did you use that pie chart? You would say, oh, because of this, right? Something like that. And I know sometimes it is the client asks for it, right? All right, so cool. So that's all of that. And yeah, there was something about this kind of size as well. Yeah. All right, so the middle graph, man, I think that is really interesting. Let me see. This is a custom visual. It seems calendar visual. I like it. And I'll say I'm a little wary of custom visuals. And again, yeah, they're all good, but I like kind of the classic stuff because it's simple, it's time tested, it just works. This, right? Anything beyond that, again, it should be a thoughtful decision. It shouldn't be eye candy for one, right? That's number one rule. It shouldn't be eye candy. We're not designing stuff which is bling and like, oh, it looks cool. At least I'm in the business of designing operational dashboards, which inform the business, help them get to insight, not necessarily, I don't know, they're not like a piece of jewelry or something, right? But I feel this is a little bit detailed. I feel this should come lower, and these guys, which you had made bigger anyway, I think these should be kind of the stars, like the brick. So again, think about how a human being would process this, right? So again, you want to go from less detail to more detail. So let's. Why is it hard to move these guys? Oh God, come on. Oh, it's refreshing. I'm not sure. Hopefully, I have no idea. Come on, move. Oh, is there a background here or something? There's something going on here. Are these groups? Are these grouped? Where is the? Sorry guys, hold on. Let me try to. Maybe I shouldn't have tried it. Where is the selection object? Yeah. Oh, it is all grouped. No wonder. I was having trouble. All right, maybe I wouldn't venture there, but oh God, now it's all messed up. Oh. Sorry guys, hold on. Let me see if I can. Ungroup. Is it doing anything? Okay, it is doing something. And then ungroup. All right. So yeah. So So you want to go from less detail to more detail. So this is the one that has, so obviously the single numbers, they're the least amount of detail. And frankly, they're not as quick to process. I mean, those numbers are, you have to kind of look at it sequentially. And obviously it happens kind of fast, but still. Graphs are even faster. Like, like this color stands out right away. But so you want to go from less detail to more detail. So I would kind of do it in this order. Again, less detail to more detail. And then this calendar thing is pretty detailed. It's right. I mean, you have to kind of think and pause and like, oh, what is it showing me? So I would generally lay it out like that. Like, least simple, this is just two breakdowns and this and this. And then the revenue calendar. I'll say, yeah, man, this is for hotel booking. This is pretty phenomenal. I mean, you can see the high points and all that stuff. Let me kind of maximize it, see how it looks. Yeah, January. Wow, January 18th is really popular. Uh, I know there's a holiday there, but yeah, you see, interesting. And this is the month boundary, and this is by week, by weekday. I think it's Monday at the top, and then Saturday and Sunday at the bottom. Or maybe, oh, actually, I think it's Sunday at the top. So I don't know if this visual has a setting. I would like the top to start on a Monday, not a Sunday. That way, the bottom two layers are kind of the Saturday and Sunday. That's a weekend. I would expect that's where you have. That'll be interesting to see Saturday and Sunday together and see if it's brighter. Right now, it's kind of hard to say. Actually, it doesn't look like this hotel is busier on weekend. I couldn't tell. So that's interesting. Now, of course, if you want to do weekend analysis specifically, you could do a bar chart like this, like weekend versus weekday. Now, of course, you wouldn't show cumulative metrics because weekend is 2 days and weekdays are 5. So you would maybe show per day revenue for a weekend versus weekday, or you could generalize it and you say revenue per day for holidays, which includes weekends and other holidays, um, versus other days, right? And that would be really interesting. But anyway, that's kind of besides the point. That's not visual design. That's we're getting into the data here. But yeah, I love this graph. Now, the one thing that I would say is the next thing that I would look at is these colors, and I can't figure out what are these colors. So there's green. There's maybe a little bit of red in there. What is that? So yeah, I think there's a little bit too much color here. So that definitely needs fixing. Now, one rule is, and again, I'm citing Stephen Few. If you guys are really interested, go get his book, Information Dashboard Design. That's my Bible. Is that if you think about sometimes, people do like traffic lights and all that stuff, and it's like red, yellow, green. But if you think about it, you do not need a green traffic light on your dashboard. Really, you don't, because the purpose of the dashboard is to call attention to, draw you to something that needs your attention. Green stuff rarely does. Like if you have the special scenario where green stuff is like where people are gonna fixate and say, "Oh, why is that green? What's going on there?" That's really rarely the case. It's usually that's red. We're under budget or overspent or something like that, right? So you don't need green. So I think I'm going to assume that this is some kind of conditional formatting. Let's just take a quick look and check that. So revenue, yes. Actually, what is going on? Oh, there we go. Where is I thought conditional formatting was here. Keep changing it. Default color. I'm actually not sure what this is not conditional formatting. Or maybe it is. Nope, it isn't. Is it? I'm not the only one who gets lost in here, right, guys? Come on, you're with me. I'm not actually sure then. How is this being done? Is it custom colors, revenue agent? Maybe data colors. I already tried that. if anybody can help me out, let me know. Where am I supposed to look? God, I'm supposed to know this tool, right? um, anyway, all right. So hey, let's focus on visual design, not my lack of being able to navigate Power BI. So this color is off. I'm gonna assume you're trying to convey something here. So first thing I would do is remove green. You don't need green. If something is green, it's good. It's fine. You know, it doesn't really need attention. And the next thing that I would do is that there's a little bit too much color here, right? I mean, if you're trying to do red, yellow, green, and plus there's this purple here. So a lot of my dashboards are kind of grayscale, and that is not a bad thing. I mean, it's just a muted color, which again, it doesn't draw your eye to the color. It lets the data shine. So here, let me try like a more subtle color for the blue. What is going on? Data colors. And let's try, and again, it doesn't have to be kind of gray. It could be any subtle color, but yeah, kind of a lighter shade. And of course, you would have to, did that work? You would have to match it with match it across visuals. I'm not sure why I'm struggling here, guys. Data colors, I'm trying to change it. Maybe it's locked or something. But anyway, you get my idea. All right, so I'll mute that. So yeah, that's all good. And yeah, I mean, I think this is kind of detail. I mean, the world map is kind of small, I think, and I'm not sure. So again, what's the insight? And again, insights should be actionable. So what are we trying to convey here? Sometimes, there is stuff can be informational, but generally we're going for insight. So it seems it's trying to show a breakdown, but maps are kind of hard to read. Like, I'm not sure. So let's think about it for a second. What insights can I draw from this? Let's look at this. So for one, man, it's kind of small, so it's not very effective. And that's what we were talking about earlier, right? You're looking for visuals which can convey more information in less space. Best bang for the buck, real estate. We're spending on every pixel. Map, at least in this case, it's maps are generally not that effective, right? I mean, I have to blow it up to really see it, which is okay. Maybe that's what you intend to do. Maybe, and I've done that. I mean, I put elements there which are like almost useless small, but then I just tell the user that, hey, I mean, just blow it up to see. But even if we blow it up, what is the conclusion that I can draw? Well, first, that I'm really impressed that you have a hotel in Antarctica. That's crazy. So you have presence in a lot of locations worldwide, but that's about it, right? I mean, that's as much as I can say. And then I do see a hotspot here. So somewhere in Europe, we have a heavy presence. Actually, Europe, I would say, is a heavy presence. And maybe I'll have to kind of click on it, just hover on it and see what's going on. And what's, oh, that's a bummer. It doesn't show what has been selected. Oh, Puerto Rico maybe? Yeah, it's kind of hard. Yeah, Puerto Rico. So Puerto Rico is the biggest presence. Maybe that's where this hotel chain started, and then it expanded in Europe and other locations. But you saw how hard we have to work for that information. So of course, what I would say is that think about what are you trying to convey here, and if you want to convey that we are in a lot of locations, you can just show that number. I mean, you could show that number, and with the growth, you could say, oh, we have, I don't know, 522 locations, and that's up 20% from last year, right? Or something like that. I mean, that would be right there. It's like a bam. Oh, okay, now I know. Boy, 500 plus locations. That's awesome, right? Or you could play with it. You could do other things. You could do it by continent. Since it's so worldwide, showing it by country would be useless. So again, if I change this to let's say a bar chart, that's going to be a pretty useless chart, I can tell you already, because it's just going to have this long line. It doesn't convey much, right? So again, look at this scroll bar, right? And look at this long tail, which is often happens in a lot of data. But if you group it, then I can see by continent. Or if you have specific regions defined, like in Microsoft, they had North America, Latin America, Asia Pacific, and EMEA, which was Europe and Middle East. And yeah, you could do it that way, and then that would be like really cool. And of course, you can have drill down. Then they can drill down into EMEA and go to the next level. And of course, Microsoft, they had a whole hierarchy where they had area, and then I don't know, groups, and then country, and then within country you can go further if you want. So maps are generally, I would caution against those. I mean, people put that as sometimes eye candy, kind of looks cool, but think about what is the purpose of your dashboard. Where are you trying to drive your users, right? What insight you want them to draw, what action you want to take, and see if you can find something more actionable. Hey, great. But again, let's wrap it up. Great dashboard. Love real business stuff. So folks, there's a video which I've recorded, which is coming out soon, which talks about 5 steps you need to master Power BI. And one of the steps that I say in there is real practice. And there are 2 things that are needed for real practice. Sorry, there's really no way around it. One is you need real data, which there is no shortage of. You can go to whatever, United Nations, blah, blah, all of that stuff. There's no shortage of real data. But man, you need one other thing, which is you need a real client. It doesn't work if you sit down in a dark room and isolate yourself, lock yourself in, and say, oh, I'm going to crunch and munch this data all day. No, BI doesn't work that way. BI is peeling an onion, right? You go layer by layer, and you're working with the client, and you build something, and you show them, and get their feedback, and what do you think? What about that? Right? I mean, and you go the next layer. They have some questions. They'll say, oh, Avi, this is great, but what about this? I love those buts. And there was a time when I hated those buts because that meant that I had to go back to my Excel workbooks and whatever and start over sometimes, right? I mean, somebody would ask for a small change, and I'm like, oh shit, because Excel worked just very differently, but now I don't. So I love that. I love the buts. So this is great. Love it. And again, hopefully this is an inspiration for you to keep telling your story. Find every opportunity you can, internally, externally. And guys, this mantra, do good work, tell great stories, applies to, if you talk about employee versus consultant, well, this one is universal. If you want success in your career, employee, consultant, freelancer, side gig, whatever, doesn't matter. You gotta get started on this journey. All right, man. So thank you so much, Prakash. And we're going to move on to our next dashboard. And let's see if we have a few more folks on the phone. Hello and welcome. New folks there. So folks on the phone, if you had submitted a dashboard or you have a dashboard, you didn't submit it, that's okay. And of course, on the phone, it's a little easier because we can just have you share your screen. And we love that. So just unmute yourself, give us a holler. Give me a holler, and we'll have you tell your story. But if not, let me see what's going on the YouTube.
Hello, Avi.
Hey, Matthias. Yeah, you did send a dashboard. I'm glad you're on.
I
Oh,
saw
Don.
it.
Yeah. So, Matthias, we're gonna get to you in a second. Don Curran. Yeah. Hey, I'm not the know-all by any means. So if you have something that you see, I often miss stuff, and people are always like, "Oh, Avi, what about this?" And so yeah, you absolutely would welcome that. And yeah, it's pretty casual. So you can unmute and talk. You can put in comments, whatever you want. So Don's comment was, "I find the horizontal format of the annual calendar very non-intuitive." Ooh, that is interesting. Yeah, that is interesting. So, folks, it'll probably take too long to bring up the calendar, but the calendar was kind of horizontally laid out, and each box was kind of a month. And think about how we generally see calendars. Now, it's funny that hey, I definitely growing up. So I grew up in India, and Diwali is the big festival there. It's kind of in the fall, October, and people exchange gifts, and one of the gifts we would get, usually from other kind of businesses. So a corporate gift would be a calendar. And yep, we were very happy, and we got a whole bunch of calendars on Diwali around October, and for the next year. And yeah, come next year, we would hang it all over. Like every room would have the calendar, and yeah, I mean, generally you can have like 3 months on the side or so forth. But now it's all electronic. But yeah, I wonder if that visual would have a setting to lay it out vertically. uh, yeah, that would be worth looking at. Um, yeah, I mean, generally, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's a personal preference. I mean, so time I've seen people where they, so again, think about it. How we generally scan, we go either left to right or kind of top to bottom. Our first inclination is actually to scan this way because again, we read this way. So so yeah, I mean, like I feel okay with this, but yeah, it'll be just, and again, sometimes visualization is not. It's art plus science. So you just, I don't know if there's like a vertical setting, then you change that, and then you just see how it looks and see what you prefer, see what the client prefers, and go from there. So yeah, you can play with that. All right, so folks, yeah, on the phone, if you feel like you want to share something, comment, and of course, if you have a dashboard to share, then chime in anytime. I'm just gonna go through some of the comments here, and Matthias, then we'll see what you have in store for us. Mm, oh, very interesting. So revenue by calendar. What could be a better representation? So again, I'm kind of a classic kind of guy, and for me, if you're not doing the classic stuff, man, you better have an explanation, right? And again, I don't need like a white paper that, oh, this is why I'm using it, but just something like, hey, this is the reason. So primarily, I use text elements, so that it's cards, multi-row cards, tables, matrix. There are four of them, right, built into it. Again, cards, multi-row cards, tables, matrix. Those are the text elements. And then I use breakdowns, which is just bar charts or column charts. And then for trends, I use line charts. Hopefully, you understand, like, I mean, what's the difference? Like, what's this right now is a line chart. When would you use that versus a column chart? And yeah, it's not right or wrong. You need to understand uh, what's the purpose of each and when you would use which. So once you have those basics, and then of course then there's a layout that I prefer. I prefer the power pattern, which is high level numbers at the top, then kind of breakdowns and trends, and then a little bit of detail. This is where tables and matrix would come in. And I almost always start off with this pattern, no matter which project I'm working on, no matter which client I'm working on, no matter what they have asked me to build. So sometimes they would show me something, build this, or I'm transitioning an Excel platform. I start with this, and I'll say, yeah, we'll get to everything you asked for. What do you think about this? So that's there. Mm, Abdul had something interesting. Middle East Friday and Saturday are weekends. So of course that again, I love Power BI because it makes it so easy to manage, and of course the best way to manage any of those calendar things are is to use the ultimate calendar table, and you can go to a channel, and right up top are the best resources. My best videos start here, and you can see the ultimate calendar series is kind of right there. And there's a link to download that as well, and you can set it up the way you want. Actually, so I wasn't aware, but it's funny that Ultimate Calendar, I thought that it was Ultimate because it had everything in there. It had the fiscal year built in, everything built in. But I realized it's Ultimate because it's ultimately flexible. Because every client that I would walk into, inevitably they had some weird thing in their calendar. That, oh, we do this. I'm like, what? Really? Okay, I guess. So yeah, so Middle East Friday and Saturday weekends. But yeah, that should be easy to handle using the Ultimate Calendar. Um, so Saurabh is saying my data color is being set according to data value. Um, yeah, wasn't able to decipher that. Oh, value. Yeah, but I figured that would be in conditional formatting, wouldn't it? I mean, I know they move things around. I thought it was easier to access. Anyway, can we change theme? Well, they have made it easier to change themes. In fact, you guys see this drop down, and this drop down is awesome, right? And it just shows everything, and it we need a drop down like this. So we need this, which is good for this stuff. Please. Oh my God, how much time I've spent, yeah, kind of squinting my eyes at this small stuff. This guy needs to look like that, where I click on something at the top and it just, man, make it bigger. Make it even bigger than this. Make it drop down this big so I don't have to like squint and so forth. So anyway, I have a feeling that's coming because I'm not the only one who's experiencing that. But sorry, I got sidetracked there. Javier is here from Toronto. Can you please tell me how to submit my dashboard? To submit your dashboard, go to learnpowerbi.com/dashboard. We'll put a link in the chat here as well. And if you submit it kind of now, we might be able to get it in this call. If not, we run this every month. So yeah, and yeah, if you're asking about next time, then yeah, we run this every month. We run one of these, and we run a Q&A session every month. Oh, Manuel is here. Oh, Manuel is awesome. All right, Manuel was one of our star speakers in the Power BI conference. We will be running it again in 2021. And who knows, Manuel might be back with more of his adventures. Elizabeth here is from Kenya. Mukesh says, create a video, live connection, AAS. Cool, I'll keep that in mind. And by Robert is here from Nairobi. I was saying, how would you chart one visual cumulative monthly series of actuals against actual? How would you chart one cumulative monthly series of... Yeah, I'm not sure I fully understand your question well. Although I probably think that belongs better in our Q&A session. So that is... If you go to talkpowerbi.com or under free resources, click on Talk Power BI. That has the information about the Q&A, how to submit elements there, and so forth. So that's that one. Yeah. All right. So let me bring up what Matthias had sent in. All right, let me... Oh, that's weird. How do I... All right, guys, hold on one second. So we have this, and... we have this.
That's last month entry.
Yeah.
And you probably, I don't know whether you remember, but if you remember, it's I changed it a little bit. The last month entry. Okay, so this is this month entry, and if you don't mind, I think it's probably best to share.
Oh, would you like to share your screen?
Would make sense, probably.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just have to allow it.
Okay, hold on.
I mean, while you're sharing, I can't share. That's it.
So let me stop sharing. All right, go ahead and share. So you're going to be covering the delivery app review, or both?
Yes. So if you don't want to talk about the last month entry and the redo,
no,
probably
we would love to check in on that, especially the updates. So so go ahead and share your screen. You should be able to now, and we are going to hear your story.
Yeah. So wait a minute.
Okay, let's see what's going on here.
Okay, so you said you would like to come back to last month. So if you see my screen, yes, that's. So we had a big white block in the middle, and
Actually,
this was.
Hold on one second. Hold on. Let me make sure it's on there. So HR. All right, so HR consultation insights from Matthias. So we have seen this before, and I loved it. There were some tweaks, and I can see already, especially the element in the middle. But yeah, walk us through. Tell us about any changes you made. How do you feel about this now? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's much better. So there are not really a lot of changes. So it's just it wasn't really
Oh, that's a good thing
finished.
because I found it a beautiful dashboard. I mean, I still do, right? I mean, so of course the key thing I think, and again the middle element, just by taking care of that, everything sits so well. It just yeah, I mean compared this to the earlier one, boy, I mean it feels just right, just perfect. So yeah, this looks great.
And there's one small change you probably won't notice at the first sight. It's on the title on the right. I just added happy versus unhappy employees in percent. So that
Mm-hmm.
was not that visible last time. You were thinking that this were
Account.
yeah. So this on the top right.
Yeah.
So these 35, this is 35%
Mm-hmm.
happy
Yeah.
employees and minus 36%.
Yeah. Yeah, got it. I mean,
So
did you try showing a percentage sign in the label itself? Was that maybe taking too much space? I mean,
um,
again, no right or
y-
wrong, right? I mean, it looks
yes,
looks nice and
yes.
clean right now.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
So
that's good. Yeah,
if you bring in the percentages, that would be a lot of percentages in this, and I don't think it's
yeah,
better by this. So
yeah, yeah. I've seen that, and
okay.
initially when I started out working with finance teams and stuff, for me, currency was shown in dollars. But I looked at their dashboard, they looked at mine, and they kind of shook their heads like, Avi, we don't show dollars because it's always dollars, right? So so I
Uh,
was like, oh, okay. So yeah, yeah, they didn't show the dollar sign. It just I felt so silly. So yeah, that makes sense. Awesome, great. So yeah, this looks beautiful, and folks, yeah, this was covered. Was it last month you were here with this one, or was it
it was
before
last
that?
month, yes,
Great.
indeed.
So if you wanna see kind of hear the detailed story of Matthias talking about this, then check that one out. Check out our last month's dashboard showcase. Ready to move on to the new one you have?
Yes, I would have to reconnect here somehow. Yep, reshare. So that's the new one.
All right. So this is delivery app review. Just tell me a little bit about the uh, like kind of the gosh, what am I trying to say? Like, what is it about? Like delivery app? I'm not sure. So what is delivery app? What does that mean?
Yeah. So um, last month it was exercise data. It
Mm-hmm.
was from a challenge from Enterprise DNA, and this is the same. So it's a different version of this challenge of Enterprise DNA.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not real clients' data,
Yeah.
unfortunately, and it shows actually. So,
Yeah.
but it's better than nothing, and
Yeah.
I think the more you do, the more you learn. And I definitely learned about lots of things here.
Yeah. But what is it
So
about? So I see warehouses. So
yes, so
delivery at
delivery app
warehouses.
is so it's there was a delivery app introduced at the beginning of the year
Mm-hmm.
to to improve the delivery process and to get data of
Ah,
several
got it.
parameters. Mhm.
Got it.
And so the task is to find, well, after half a year, so 6 months, what's what's the what's the effect? So evaluate whether this app was used, how well it was received, and the kinds of effects it has on the overall delivery situation. So the
Got it.
difference is you scan with this new delivery app, you scan your deliveries, the labels, versus manual entries. And there are a few parameters which are important. So how many manual entries do you have? How many damaged labels there are? And how many returns you have? How much time is spent at the store while doing the delivery.
Yeah, perfect. Great. Awesome.
Okay.
So great. That gives us the context. Now let's step through the dashboard.
Yep. So you mentioned it's good to have real data. And in this
And a
case
real
here,
client.
yes, and a real client, someone who's asking you for different things. So what I noticed is that the data is not real data because everything is quite well distributed, and there is no
Yeah.
progress in this app.
Yeah. Hey, something is better than nothing, right? So
But
I
okay,
have,
yes,
I
it's
mean, I
really good.
I have
So
lots of
I love
students
it.
who are in this situation where doing it practice, and of course you are doing this kind of on the side, and I know you have your day job, and I know you're building stuff there. I know it's not as easy for you to share that work. So this works great, right? I mean, so I know you're getting a lot of real practice with real data, and I'm sure with real clients as well in kind of your main work. But this is great for a showcase. It definitely showcases kind of your ability around dashboards and stuff. And man, love the last one, and this one is equally beautiful. But yeah, so given the setting, I mean, given the challenges here with the fake data and all, but yeah, walk us through. So we have the scenario: warehouse introduce a new app, and now they're saying, oh, is it working? Is it not working? Is it improving things? Is it problematic? Well, are they still doing manual entry? Are the labels damaged? All of that stuff. So just walk us through and tell us a story here.
Yes, and the data is also it's also giving it's completely different than what you normally know, what you do daily. So it's
Yeah.
really good to have something different, and you notice it when it's different. You have challenges. Yeah, so
Yeah, yeah.
it's
One thing
very
I'll call out though for listeners that this is what I love about Power BI. So we were talking yesterday with some of our Pro Plus members, and we were talking about how can we tell the business what they need to do, right? I mean, and in BI they promised that, right? And oh, don't just know what happened. We'll tell you what you need to do, what action you need to take. And I'm like, well, that's okay. That's good if you can do that. But sometimes, that takes a lot of effort and smartness and whatever, right? I mean, it's not feasible. Businesses are not there. Frankly, they don't even understand their historical data. So to, to take them to this leap, it's just too much. So what BI can enable you is that give you a really good look at what's going on historically, but then when you make changes, you can quickly detect whether it's helping or not. And that's what I love about this scenario. So it kind of applies to everybody. That whatever business you're running, Power BI now gives you the ability to make those changes and just see how it's working in data. All right, Matthias. Enough of mine, interleading there. Go ahead, take it away.
okay. So what is important for me here is that I cover the task which I have shown just before. On this top level, you can see here there is how much data labels there are, how much how many manual entries there were, the damages, the returns, and how much time was spent at this store. So this is all at the top. Um,
Yeah.
so this is like the power pattern on the top, some highlight figures, and you can see also how many warehouses there are, 10, and this is the number of total deliveries. So
Yeah. Oh,
um,
love that. Great.
okay, so then below you can see how these deliveries are split among the warehouses. You can see here about the label damages, how it's influencing the performance probably. It is true indeed, there is a small effect on visible effect on if there is a data label damage, then the manual entries is increasing.
So actually, let's just stay there for a second. So this is,
Yes,
I mean, I know I struggled with this graph in the last one as
yes.
well, but then I loved it. So
Okay,
the first bar is Q1, the second bar is Q2, and was
yes.
was the change introduced at the end of Q1?
So it's really here. So the app was introduced in January.
Oh,
That
okay, got
means
it. So
it's,
it's not about that quarter, but
yeah, but you can
the
see here the introductory phase and the well, the final phase, the result. So you
yeah.
normally, yeah, and there is, so I took this
S-
quarter to quarter because then there are no outliers. So like Easter holidays or whatever
Yeah.
might be in between. So
Yeah,
the
but
idea was to have,
what are the numbers? Like so average manual entries, average label damage. So I see that. I understand those
yep,
lines, and I
okay,
can see that the label damage, um, well, it got worse from Q1 to Q2, right? 49.3 to 49.8. Um, am I reading that right?
Mm, yes, but it's slightly, so it's not a big
Yeah,
change.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, got it, got
yeah,
it. Okay, now I understand. And I was wondering about the numbers. The numbers are really the top blue part is saying the label was okay, and the
yeah,
bottom part is saying label not okay.
yes,
I'm
indeed.
wondering if maybe it would have helped me. So if the label okay part was on the left of that,
Ah, yes, okay.
so again it's a small change, but of course you saw as a human I kind of struggled through it, and sometimes you can't put too much weight into one human because we're all different. But you
Mm,
can think about it. You can say that, oh, if Avi struggled, does that mean others do too? And of course, if you really want, you can have like 4 or 5 people go through that. But I'm thinking even like logically that since we scan from left to right, if the label was had been on the left, I would have seen it before my eyes scanned the bars, and then I would have associated them. I struggled with it a little bit, so a minor tweak, but cool. So I got the graph, and again, it's a very rich graph, folks. And if you really want to see, justice done to this, then how powerful this can be, then watch the HR dashboard that Matthias presented last month. I mean, it blew me away. So yeah, that was really amazing. All right, awesome, great. So got that. Um, and then, do you have the breakdowns of the manual entry damages, returns, and duration? It seems.
yes, indeed. And so so the task was to look at it on warehouse store combination, but I think it
Yeah.
makes more sense to have it first here on the warehouse level. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Um,
Okay.
awesome. And
And
walk us
let me
through. Yeah.
just, so so the problem is the app data doesn't show there is a real improvement. And so that's why this year is so important. Well, it doesn't really help a lot, but there is, if you are introducing this app and you have to defend it, then you say, oh, you can say
Yeah.
at least, yeah, the labels were
But
deteriorating
wait a
for that
second.
reason.
If the app was introduced in January, then
Yes,
to tell if there was an improvement or not, we need data before January, right?
that's true
I mean,
somehow, yes.
yeah. I mean, I got on this new diet.
Yep.
Yeah, and yeah. It's so I think uh, that's kind of a handicap right there. But anyway, I know we were working with kind of sample data set and so forth, so we'll ignore that for now. Uh, Obviously, I think you've done great, and visually certainly looks beautiful. So I got the breakdowns. Walk us through some of the other elements at the bottom.
So here at the bottom, then there's a group here of two elements where there are buckets. So every day might be different. So
Yeah.
there might be a tendency that
Oh,
during the
brilliant. Love it.
weekend it's different than during the week. And there is a difference, yes, but it's not that big. So yes, the
Yeah.
weekend you have more scanned
Mm-hmm.
deliveries than the rest, but
Yeah.
it's not that much. Mhm. And the same here for the time. So, for example, during lunch break, here it seems to be better.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, well, let's call it a lunch break. It's the time bucket from starting at 12 uh,
Yeah.
to 3 o'clock. Mhm.
Got it.
Yeah. So there is indeed some difference, and for real data, I'm pretty sure you would see more differences here. And you would even see it already here
Mm-hmm.
in this warehouse area. So there would be one big warehouse, some not that big, and then small warehouses. So it's very, very evenly distributed, and which is harming finding insights.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and then this here, this is it's not something I would do if this were real data, because you normally would have an improvement about the scanning. But this is nice because you can see here very well when at the beginning, you can
Mm-hmm.
say here with the training, perhaps there was some kind of enthusiasm. There's a little bit more of scanned entries versus manual entries, but then you see that it's phasing off, and then in the second quarter here, it's just we're mainly it underwater. We have more um, manual entries than scanned entries. And it's hovering around the 50%. So it's not really, and
So what's this? It's like the delta in terms of numbers, or it's
yes,
some kind of okay. So just absolute
yeah.
numbers. So you counted, scanned, and you subtracted manual from that, right?
Um, Actually, this is about percentage. Yes.
Okay.
Mhm. So you
So
you have 53 scanned at the beginning, and then I just
okay, okay, got it. So
47 manual entries, for example. Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
What do they call it? I think they call it basis points when you subtract two percentages together. It's yeah, I feel it. All right,
Mhm.
great. So hey,
Okay.
yeah, anything else you would like to add on this?
Yes. Well, I did this in July, and then now for this entry here, I made a few changes.
Mm-hmm.
The one I have already mentioned here is that we have now different layers. So I think for if you start off, you look for which warehouse is bad here on
Mm-hmm.
the manual entries. Good.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would dive into perhaps the details and
Ooh,
see. Yeah. So I just changed now the view to
yeah.
stores.
But if I was interested in one of the warehouses which was bad, would I be able to see
Yes. So we
stores
had Indiana,
just?
for example.
Oh, okay, okay, got it. So I'll click that.
Yeah.
Got it. And wow, and just really curious, what in the world is both gonna do? I mean, is it gonna? It can't show both graphs at the same time, or can it? Or is that the
Well, no,
drill
not.
down? What is that? What
It's
does that one do?
yes. So now you did something which I would do as well. I I looked for the one Indiana and filtered for it. And then here the stores are all, you can see it here. So it's only one warehouse now.
Yeah.
Okay. And if I take this filter out again, and it's both, yes, this is not a good word perhaps, but it's a combination. And that's also when you see it's a combination of warehouse and store, and it's sorting descending. Yeah. So I can change this. So the filter is out. So now you have all warehouses in all stores.
Okay, got it. So it's not just
And it
yeah,
does make a difference because now you can see here, so there's 100% damage, for example. You
quick
see there's a
store.
wider spread. Before you
Yeah.
had an average, you
Mm-hmm.
don't find the outliers.
Yeah.
Now with this view, you can see the outliers.
What about instead
Yeah.
of uh, you know, God, the bookmarks, right? The WS store and both. What if you use the drill down? And I'm feeling that might be more intuitive because if you go back to the warehouse one, like if I see something in the warehouse in drill down, I
Yeah.
could just click on it and go, go to the next level and say, oh, look at this store. Right? So imagine
Mm,
here, I could click on IN
yes.
and, on the desktop, frankly, I'd like to right click and right click IN and say drill down, and then it shows me the stores there.
Yes.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, you could
So
consider that.
actually the bookmarks are doing this for you. So this is a drill down. So you have,
Yeah,
if
but
you
if you
go
if you think
for,
about it, that's less intuitive for humans, right? I mean, I'm looking at this.
no,
My eyes are
yes.
fixated on IN. It's more intuitive for me to
Mhm.
just touch it, tap it, click it, right? Rather than, oh, I have to now go in the corner and switch to something else. And it's not just so, that would be one touch, right? One touch drill down. Versus now, I have to click on stores and go to the top right and then go to the far left by warehouse, find IN in there. It's not even at the top now. And then click, right? You see the disconnect there.
Yeah, but you would have to help me now because I'm not sure what you mean by drill down. So what you can see now on the top, there are the
Ah,
options you have. So you can, this
so
is,
in the axis, where it says warehouse on the
s-
visualization pane,
yeah,
if you drag in the store field, so you have the visual selected, and on the visualization pane,
y- yes.
in the
Okay,
axis,
so yes. Mhm.
you can just drag stores in there, right? And that allows the user to drill down.
Well, look, perhaps I'm wrong here, but for me, drill down is this. So you see this white stuff on the top?
Yeah, but you haven't enabled it because axis only has one field.
Ah, you mean this. Okay, okay. Mhm. So what is this doing? So this is, so you can see it
So let's
here
let's
one
just
more
try
time.
it, see how it works. So in axis, where it says warehouse, you have the axis legend values on the side in the visualization pane, right?
So with this, I can
Yeah, there you
activate.
go.
That's what you want. Mhm.
Yeah, right. I mean, and yep. So you click on IN, and then you go to the next level. Uh,
Wait a minute, but you have four visuals. That's the issue I see.
yeah,
And you cannot drill them down all at
all
the
at the
same
same
time.
time.
And that's why I think this bookmarks are doing this. So this is drilling down. Um,
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Yeah, it's
so
drill
this
down
is
all of
drilling
them.
down four visuals at the same time. And you can't do this. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. And again, this is the kind of stuff that it's kind of harder without a real client because I can imagine both paths how people would want to explore. And again, I mean, as we were talking earlier, right? I mean, dashboard is a lot of art plus science, science plus art. And yeah, so okay, got it. I totally get it now. Hey, I have to call out some of the cool stuff here. So folks, again, power pattern, you see that kind of the big bold numbers right up top, and that's pretty amazing. Now, another thing that you see that's really smart, of course, the use of color, and of course, if you saw the HR dashboard he presented last month, it's just consistent, and it just looks beautiful, clean, and yeah, I love that. So, color use of color should be intentional. So, and that's what I kind of see here. So, I love that, and of course, lots of breakdown, trends, details, sort of stuff. That's all awesome. One thing that caught my eye was that how he's economizing space. So again, think of this as real estate. Every pixel you're paying money. How can you save pixels? So one thing he's doing really smartly is that the graph here below manual entries, average damages, average returns, duration, notice that those graphs don't have a title. They don't have their own title because they share the title with the card above. And why does that work? So if you think about it, what's the most important valuable element in dashboard design? It is space, empty space. That's the most important element. And you can increase space when it's effective for you, and you can decrease space. And that is what is making this work in here. He has decreased the space between the card at the top and the graph. It's almost side by side, and that is what makes it work. If the graph was a little bit further down, it wouldn't have worked. It would need a title of its own. So he has put the graph right next to it and aligned it right. I mean, the edges and the boundaries and everything. So that's brilliant. And if you notice, he has done this one other place in the dashboard, which is at the bottom, which is the manual versus scanned. And again, right? I mean, this is just brilliant because again, real estate is valuable. So if you notice here, not sure, manual and scanned, that is being used by both of these graphs, and it just works. So I love all of that. Now there's something, Matthias, which seems very intentional, and I want to ask you about it. Oops, how do I do this? Which is the total deliveries, warehouse, and label damage. And again, you use space here. You put a lot of space between here and the next set of entries. You did that at the top bar, and not just that, you put a line, a blue line, right? So dividing the left and right section. I'm just curious, is that intentional? I mean, you think that left is kind of a group that should be looked at together? What's going on there?
This one here is definitely a group which is
Yeah,
which has to be separated from the rest, I'd say.
yeah,
And then the bottom left, the two belong together, so they share the legend, as you
yes.
have
Oh,
noticed.
yep, I love that. All right, so yeah,
And
makes sense. So this definitely is kind of a cluster. So just putting the line there in space to kind of differentiate it. So yeah, love that. So of course, I've used one analogy before, guys, which I like. So think about going to a museum and think about a tour guide giving you a tour. It takes you here, points out something, and then takes you to the next spot. But of course, what great visualization design does is it gives them the guided tour without a guide. Maybe a good dashboard, it can be, I mean, if you need to be there, like sometimes you're presenting a dashboard and then you can get away with, dashboards which are not great because you are there to walk the user through. You can draw their attention. You can say, look at this, and you can highlight element and focus and do something, right? But a great dashboard is where that's not needed, where it's visually laid out to kind of guide the user. And imagine like rest stops on the museum. That's what empty space is. It gives us eyes a rest, a break, and before the new thing begins. The same thing is for delimiters like line. And of course, the smartness is in knowing when to use which one. Space, line, boxes, whatever, right? So, and again, less is kind of more. All right, Matthias. So this is awesome. I loved it, just like the other one. Boy, I mean, I know taking real dashboards and sharing them, it's a little bit tricky, but hey, when and if possible, we would love to see that. Just love to see some of your real work and hear those stories around that too.
well, they're not necessarily better, but just let me. You're
Oh,
right. This one
yeah,
here is definitely something. This is not. It was not. So we just now, for example, switched here to the stores, the
yeah.
store number. Yep.
Oh,
This
nice
this
touch. Didn't even notice that. Yeah.
dashboard was not intended for a completely self-service, and so this is definitely requiring some guidance.
But a little bit. I think overall the layout is great. So there are two things, right? So one is that so I look for discoverable and intuitive. Like there's some features I think it's both. I mean I think the users can see the buttons there, and if they can play around with it, they can figure it out, right? So
Yeah, but so
yeah.
there's one difficulty. You have to
Hmm.
press Control and then press.
I
And
know,
that's
but that's
something
only
you.
in Power BI Desktop. And frankly, Power BI Desktop is a model authoring tool. It's never meant for end users.
Okay.
So if they're on PowerBI.com or on the mobile app, it's yeah, they just tap it, touch it, click it, and it works.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, that's good. I wouldn't hold that against Power BI. Hey, thank you so much, mate. We really enjoyed it.
Well,
I think the
thank you.
YouTube would too. So yeah, good to have you back. Awesome.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
all right, folks. So let's see. Let's check in on YouTube. Let's check in on our other Learn Power BI friends on the phone. And I'm trying to figure out. Actually, I don't know how to have you stop sharing. Maybe you have to do it on your end. Okay, there we
Did.
go. All right. And I should be like a Zoom expert by now, but I'm not. But I can manage. All right. So back to my screen. Let's see. Yeah, so folks, so of course I did say Learn Power BI enrollment is open right now. And yeah, so welcome to all the new members who've already joined. Today is the last day to enroll in learnpowerbi.com, in Learn Power BI program. And the way to do that is just go to learnpowerbi.com, our website, and really on every page you would see this thing at the top. And all you have to do is enter your email address to get the invite. This Monday, I'm doing a welcome call, which I do every month. And the whole day, I have back to back meetings with my students. And they do get booked up fast. Actually, they already booked. But again, we do it every month. And that's one of my favorite days. Because for me, I always want this to be about people, right? I mean, you've probably seen, like, if you go on our About Us page, there's a picture, the world map, right, of the Learn Power BI members. But yeah, I mean the personal welcome calls, and of course hanging out here with you guys. I mean, just this whole thing, Matthias. I mean, having him come back. I mean, that's awesome. And this idea that he might come back and show some of his real stuff. Yeah, I always want to remember that each dot is a person. It's a real person. And folks, that's one reason why I love Power BI, because if you think about it, doesn't matter what you're building, there are always people associated with and behind dashboards, right? I mean, eh, right? I mean, whatever you show, the most boring, stupid data, whatever finance. Like sometimes people say, "Oh, like finance stuff is boring." I don't think it's boring. I think it's exciting. And imagine there's so much people who contributed to those numbers, and then their lives are impacted by that. So I love the people aspect, and I never want to forget that. This is not about numbers for me. This is about people. So yeah, so Don, we'll see you on the welcome call. 91706, that's the name I have. At least that's what it showed up here. Saying I enrolled today. Thanks for providing this opportunity. Awesome, great. All right, so folks, again, if you're on the phone and if you submitted a dashboard, great. Even if you didn't, you would like to share something, then this is your chance. And what this is about is, again, this idea that in this day and age, you can't just do good work and get ahead. It just doesn't work. Because you've tried it. I tried it for 15 plus years. Man, I worked my ass off in a lot of top companies, but mostly went around in circles. I went ahead and got my master's in computer science. I thought that's going to help, right? So again, we keep trying these things when they don't have a tight correlation with success. And this is such a simple thing, but this is when my life changed. And this was by accident. Nobody taught me this. I stumbled into it. When I discovered Power BI, I was so excited about it, I started telling stories. I started holding lunch hour meetings, brown bags, and things like that because, again, I was so excited about this. I'm like, guys, I want to share it with somebody, right? So I would just hold these meetings and talk to people about it. And pretty soon, I was still doing good work. I was always doing good work. Man, I was always a hard worker, right? But, I went from maybe one person knowing about my good work, my manager, hopefully, to 10 people, to 100, to 1,000, to 10,000, to 100,000. Of course, the 10,000, 100,000 happened when I left my Microsoft. But yeah, even within Microsoft, man, those were my best years. Best years, as in, let's make it simple, right? So I know success can be defined in a lot of ways, but let's just keep it to money, right? I mean, that's when I got my best bonus, best promotion, best everything. Because again, went from one person knowing about my good work to 100 to 1,000. And you become unstoppable. And of course, if more people know kind of even outside your organization, that makes you even more powerful. And that gives you the life of freedom. I think freedom is simply control. For a lot of time, I didn't have any control over my life, right? I mean, it was always sitting in the back seat of a car, being driven around. Oh, new manager. Oh, we're going this way. A reorg. Oh, we're going that way. And sometimes I would get out of one car and step into another, which is when I would change my jobs. But really, I would go from one backseat to another backseat. There was no control. And again, it's not about employee versus consultant. I have seen employees, if they get fired or they choose to leave their job, they're going to be like 5 companies or 10 companies knocking on their door. And I say, oh my God, I'm so glad they laid you off. Their losses are gain. Dude, we're going to give you a pay raise, right? I've heard of people who got fired and then got a pay raise. So it's not about that, but the folks I know. So James Whitaker is one. He's within Microsoft. He's an employee, but man, does he tell great stories. Oh, he is phenomenal, right? So that's a key. And yeah, we want to set the stage for our Learn Power BI members primarily, but hey, we love our YouTube followers as well. So everybody is welcome to kind of submit. Of course, for students, they get a chance to kind of verbally get into it. And we hope that this is just the start of your journey. This is the first step. And you do it internally within organizations, on LinkedIn, other platforms, conferences, virtual conferences, whatever, right? To do all of that, right? Hey, one day if you want to write a book, write a book. I'm kind of done with writing a book. I think there are faster ways to kind of spread your story. All of that, right? So find your step, but don't overthink it. Don't feel like, oh, I'm never gonna be like that or something. Just take the first step. Awesome. So let's see what else is going on. Let's check in on our YouTube crowd. Manish is saying, can you please change the theme to see if colors are changing? Well, yeah, the last time I tried it, it did work. Although I like the earlier theme of muted colors. I don't know how this is gonna work. I just have. Let's try this teal. Ooh. Oh God, please no. How do I undo this? Let's go back. So yeah, so it's working for me. Yeah, it's kind of odd. If you're having trouble with this, Manish. Actually, yeah. Oh, I haven't even seen the September 2020 features yet. So, Vanessa, I'm not sure I can help you there. So, folks, it's all well and good if you stay caught up with the Power BI stuff, but you don't need to. In fact, what I would say is that, at least for folks who are starting out, you should tune all of that out because that is distraction. Because you first got to master the core concepts, the 20% core concepts, and trust me, none of them have changed in years. And Power BI isn't new. Power BI was officially introduced in 2015, but man, I was writing a DAX measure in 2009 because it was part of Project Gemini, which was inside Excel and so forth, right? So those concepts haven't changed, trust me. So that's the first thing you need to do, get a grounding in the concepts. And then I have this theory of push versus pull learning. So that you need push to you. It's hard to pull that, gather that from bits and pieces and broken jigsaw puzzles pieces from the internet, Google and YouTube. It just takes too long. It's a lot of work and you keep getting stuck. So that's frustrating. So you want that delivered to you through a course, and that's what I try to do in my course. I focus on kind of the core concepts, which again kind of don't change. But again, you don't have to do my course, any other course, which is you feel focused on that. So get the 20% of core concept pushed to you. Once you have the core concepts mastered, you can pull the other stuff as you need, right? So just in time learning versus taking a lot of time to kind of trying to learn everything and so forth. So anyway, so kind of a segue there, but yeah. So September 2020, I have no idea what's being released. Yeah. so yeah. I mean, actually, talking with our Pro Plus students yesterday, actually, we were talking about this going from the land of FOMO, which is fear of missing out, right? This feeling that you have to learn everything and get the latest and know the latest, to JOMO, joy of missing out. Like I want to live in the land of JOMO, not FOMO. Yeah, I'm joyful that I'm missing out this stuff and I don't know any of it. I'm joyful about it because man, it lets me focus, right? It lets me focus on. So yesterday I spent close to 4 to 5 hours learning something new, Power Apps. I never learned Power Apps, and the way I'm learning it is that I'm building a project for one of our students. In fact, don't tell this to anybody. This is just a secret between us guys, all right? I have decided, and again, I'm not telling this to anybody, that I'm only gonna work for free from now on. That sounds crazy, right? Now, of course, what I'm talking about is not training. Training is going to be paid, except the scholarship which we're running, right? But when it comes to consulting, I do want to consult. I love that, but I want to do it in a format that helps everybody, not just one client. So right now we're experimenting with that, and I've done 2 projects, one in Power BI, one I'm doing in Power Apps, and I'm learning as I go, where I'm recording the whole thing. I'm recording everything. I'm recording the meetings, then I talk about the work that I did, and I save the files so somebody can go step by step and learn from that whole experience. That way I'm not just helping one client, I can help hundreds, thousands of students, right? Man, that's powerful. So why not, right? So that's frankly, yeah. So that's kind of where I'm going. I'm gonna work for free. I'm just gonna say, hey, student, if you and we will anonymize your data for you, right? I mean, give us your data, we'll anonymize it, give it back to you, and once you approve it, you say, yep, Avi looks good, looks totally anonymous, and there's no sensitive information here. Then we'll start working on a project. And of course, whatever we build, all you have to do is point it from the anonymous data to your real data, and boom, you have everything working, right? So that's kind of the vision. But again, what I'm talking about is the FOMO to JOMO. I'm in the land of JOMO, joy of missing out, because I can ignore what is going on, like September 2020. I know, yeah, I mean, because ignoring that lets me focus on this stuff. Because again, that push versus pull learning. The new stuff I can always pull to me. Once you have the core concept, it doesn't take you long. A Google search here, there, video, whatever, something like that, you can make it work. So focus on the core concepts. Hopefully that helped. And again, I should have done it a long time ago, but I have recorded a video. It should be coming out next week, which talks about this and 4 other steps. Because and one of the steps I learned like a month ago, and I'm like, whoa, what? Yeah, that's obvious now that I know it. So it's going to talk about 5 steps, which often people miss. Either they don't do all the steps, or they don't do it in sequence, or something else. They mess it up, and that's why they struggle with Power BI. And folks, again, I mean, I've helped thousands of students and hundreds of thousands through YouTube channel and so forth. So that's what I saw. And push versus pull learning is there, and some other cool stuff. I think you're gonna like it. So that's coming out next week. All right, let's see what else is going on. All right, so smart narrative. That's interesting. Great. In September 20, some discussion going on about the line chart. So, folks, what I would recommend. So I forget who was. I think it was Ferreira, Joe Ferreira, who was asking about actuals versus actual. And I didn't quite get it. The best thing would be to go to talkpowerbi.com. That is just a shortcut to or learnpowerbi.com/talkqa. So go to talkpowerbi.com, and if you're still stuck, so by the way, if you go on our channel, then right below are best resources, and then it talks about the upcoming live stream, and you can see what's going on. So the next Q&A we're going to run on October 23rd. And again, if you go to talkpowerbi.com, there it has links for to submit your questions. Students get their own links, and they do get priority in the Q&A as well. Now, you do have to be present on the call. So yeah, if you're still stuck, and what we would recommend is if you can give us something, give us screenshots, give us sample Excel files, give us sample PBIX files, something, and then show us, and that makes it a lot easier versus if you just type something in, like, say, hey, how do you chart this versus that? Then I may not know, I may not have the full context. So yeah, if you submit a file with that, that helps. So yeah, that's talkpowerbi.com. All right, the averages. There was some question about earlier. Loretta Sue, hey, good to see you here. How are things in the education world? Iran says hi from Turkey. Pierre is here from France. All right, Javier had to bail. Do you have any promotions going on for your class? Well, go promo. Yeah. We don't really run promotions. I mean, I don't know. We think it's incredible value. We call it the Learn Power BI family. This is the only thing that I do. This is the mission of my life, to help my students. Now, we are running scholarships, but I'll tell you guys that this is the first time. This is a first step in a big vision. And I talked about it at the start of the call that, man, I've been on this quest this year to hike 100,000 feet in elevation gain and donate to a charity that I believe in. One of my front tooth is fake, by the way, and yeah, if you go to our site learnpowerbi.com/give, you can read the story. And man, those were like the 2 or 3 worst days of my life. And again, it was just 2 or 3 days, but I felt like a complete idiot, I mean, walking around with that broken tooth. And if I had stayed that way, I don't know. I mean, would I have had the confidence to start this channel? I don't know. Maybe not. And my life would have been completely different. And I had just a broken tooth. I mean, so obviously what I was doing, I was not smiling, like I was just keeping my lips together. I can hide it, but the kids with cleft lip, they can't even do that. So yeah, that's. But anyway, that has grown into. I not only want to help the charities that we believe in, but we also want to start like a Learn Power BI scholarship program. But the first round is going to be small. It's actually probably only going to be 3 people, and we've already received quite a few applications, quite a few. So it's going to be kind of interesting to sift through that. But the vision is bigger because, frankly, yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. So I'm a huge believer in kind of the agile approach and the MVP, which is the minimum viable product. So this is our MVP. I wanna work closely with these 3 folks. Obviously, they're gonna get the scholarship, and plus, what's unique is they're gonna have a mentorship with me directly, and I'm really looking forward to that because, again, I want to make a real difference. We had done scholarships initially, but the challenge was that we didn't really know, like, did your life change? Did it make anything, or right? I mean, because sometimes the technical knowledge isn't enough. That's not what changes your life, right? And of course, there are some pieces like this: do good work, tell great stories, but there are others there. So we want to understand that. So to folks who go through this program, I want to work with them closely and understand kind of what are they struggling with, what's the best way we can help them, and then slowly expand the program. So yeah, if you're interested in that, just go to learnpowerbi.com/scholarship. I'll probably put that in here, but as I said, it's gonna be I mean, everybody has a chance. We haven't made any decisions yet. I haven't reviewed it. I'm going to start reviewing it actually this weekend. And you have time. So both for the course enrollment, you have time till tonight. And for the course enrollment, just go to learnpowerbi.com and put this your email address in there to get your invite. For Learn Power BI Scholarship, you have the same end of the day today. And yeah, so submit it, and we'll go through each and every single application. Beatrice is here. Greetings from Germany. Hello. What if remembers? Okay. All right. Awesome. So let's. What? It's just 10:40. Okay. It's still early. So let's go through maybe one other dashboard, and I'm gonna see what's the best one we're gonna pick. So Jawad Ali had sent some dashboard. Ooh, this looks interesting. Yeah, let's. Or Harpreet. Harpreet had one. Oh, the Shark Week. Okay. Oh boy. All right, let's take Jawad Ali. So let's do. Portfolio dashboard. All right, guys, we're doing this. All right. First of all, again, Jawad Ali, thank you so much. Because, hey, you've taken a step to not just doing good work, but telling great stories, and hopefully it'll inspire others to do the same, and hopefully it'll keep you inspired to not just do it in this setting, but keep going, right? And again, if one person knows about your good work versus 10 versus 100 versus 1,000 or more, it's gonna change your life. You don't have to chase success anymore. We're like, oh, work hard, learn more, work hard, learn more, and we're just trapped in that hamster wheel, right? And your life is going to change. I guarantee it. So yeah, thanks for doing that. Kudos on this. I mean, it does take some courage. The first step is often kind of scary. So let's do what we always do. Let's do the squint test. And so I'm just going to squint my eyes, close them halfway, and see what pops out at me. And boy, this one is kind of tricky. I think the first element that popped out at me was interestingly at the bottom, and again, which is unusual because generally we scan this way, but obviously it popped up because of the size. It's kind of big, and then this one again, this is really unusual, but this popped up because its size is big and there's a lot of color. There's a lot of dense color in here. I mean, notice that these elements are big, almost as big as this, but they're less color dense, right? I mean, it's just frankly, it's even a lighter shade of blue, and half of it is gray. So I'm really surprised that it's the bottom two elements that popped for me at least, because again, that's the least important spot. Generally, it's the stuff at the top that pops up. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that might need to be tweaked. Otherwise, I like kind of the colors. They're generally kind of consistent. It has a very clean look. I love that. It has a strong bones, as I say. So again, the strong bones are what we have is the high level numbers, breakout, trends, and detail, right? So it has the high level numbers. It has these breakouts. It has trends right here. It has maybe, I don't know what to call this. Maybe that is a high level number. It has more of a breakdown, and then it has details. So strong bones. So again, thumbs up for that. That is really awesome. Some of the things that I would look at is I think the layout could use a little bit of work. So yeah, you want the high level numbers kind of up top, and then you want to show you want to go from less detail to more detail. So you want to show kind of some of the less detailed elements and then slowly grow in more details, and then the last things are very detailed. So I think, and frankly, I'm not sure about these. For one, these are a cousin of pie chart, of course, um, and yeah, they're kind of wasteful, right? So let's be honest here. And I'm not saying don't use them, but just well, hopefully you have a good reason. And I mean, yeah, I sometimes hear that, oh, the client asked for it, but it's a fine line sometimes. But sometimes when a client asks for it, I do try to push back just a little bit, and not really push back, but educate them. And I say, hey, yeah, we can do that. We can do a pie chart, but just so you know, it's not a very effective visual. It takes up a lot of space, and it's actually for humans, for it's hard to read it accurately. Bar graphs we can read a lot more accurately. And then if they say no, it's a pie chart, it has to be, then well, that's good. But right, I mean, right. So yeah, so I would consider kind of maybe different elements, maybe a simple card, something like that, right? But if you think about this, this is kind of less detail. So I would maybe kind of put these guys, move this over here, and then can these sit next to this somehow? And then I would think this is the next level, which has the next level of detail, right? So I would say this would be 1, this would be 2, this would be 3, and see if you can visually lay out in that manner. Again, and the layout is left to right and top to bottom, right? So can you lay it out that way? And then you go progressively more detail, right? So, we covered this, we covered this, we covered these guys, we covered this guy, and then maybe we do this element, and then this one, and this one. The next one is certainly more detailed, very detailed. So I usually kind of put it away, because that's everybody has to look very carefully through that. Although conditional formatting and stuff, that definitely helps. So layout is what I would look at. Another thing for layout is that, again, this top corner is the most valuable real estate. I mean, if this is New York, then that is Manhattan, right? I mean, that's the most valuable real estate. Actually, I don't even know. Maybe if somebody's in from New York, like, what's the most valuable real estate in New York? I was just assuming it's Manhattan. Who knows? I actually used to live in New York, upstate, White Plains, New York. But yeah, we were more of we would go north to the state parks rather than going south to visit the city. And hey, we love it here in Seattle now. You can go in any direction and you would be out in the nature. We love it. So, oh God, I got distracted. So, we scan this way, and so this is the most prime real estate, and slicers are not data. Right, so again, you want data to be the star of your show. That's why we don't like to make our title, like really big or with the background color. Like this one is good. This one is good title. It's kind of there, but it's not like in your face, like smack, there it is. No, it's just there, right? So data, we want the data to be the star. So the slicers are not the star. I mean, they should be there when users need it. So I like to put them here, because again, that's less important position, right? And again, because we scan from left to right and top down, so I like to kind of put them there. I mean, theoretically you could do it at the bottom, but that doesn't work well. Why? Because dashboards and web design is kind of merging, if you guys have noticed that. I mean, there are different principles, but they're kind of merging. So people, obviously, we interact with websites quite a bit, and I don't know a website which has menu or selection items at the bottom. So, I mean, if that was an option, that would be a great place for slicers. Because again, I mean, you don't really need them until you need them, right? I mean, you want to set the slicer and then be done, right? I mean, you want them out of the way. Now, of course, another technique that people use is that they have an expanding panel where you can click on a button and then the panel expands. Then, of course, if you do that, you can put it here or here. Then it doesn't matter, and it, and then it expands and takes up all the space. But you don't have to do that. Frankly, I don't do that much, because for one, it's a lot of work, and I don't know. I mean, it's also makes it less obvious. Like if you do an expanding panel, then every new user would have to be told or may take some time to discover it. So I'm okay with putting the slicer right on the page, not doing the fancy panel stuff unless I really have to. But yeah, I would just move it kind of here. This is definitely an awesome trick. This I love. Like the data is the report is showing data as of this date, right? And obviously that is not going to be like today's date. That's going to be actually that, oh, we have data till this date. That way, if something went wrong with a refresh or something, then people can see that, oh, I mean, today is October 9th, but I can see there that the data is only available till October 3rd. And I guess, and you know, then maybe they can reach out to me or whatever. We can have a status page. Maybe you can have a link right there, which can let them check the status, and they click on that, and then it shows that, oh yeah, we're having this issue, and the data is delayed. The ETA, expected time that it'll be fixed is by Monday, right, October 11th or something, right? So yeah, so that's kind of all good. That's kind of a pro move there. The other thing that I would say is again, you want to think in terms of data pixels and non-data pixels. So I'm just going to be kind of put on the Stephen Few hat for a second and just look at all the non-data pixels. So this fill here is a non-data pixel. The fill behind these, that is not data. The fill here, the kind of fill in the table, the fill here, all of that, that is not data. And what else? I saw something else here. Oh, the lines. Look at all of these lines. All of that is not data. So our goal with non-data pixels is to eliminate them or minimize them, right? Or minimize, de-emphasize, right? So the first thing you should try is eliminating, right? And you're gonna have to do some work, because what we do is we use this non-data, this fill and all that stuff as a crutch, right? I mean, when you let go of the crutch, you have to walk on your own, and it's hard sometimes. So, and you have to kind of learn. So what you would need is that, so what the fill is doing is it's really differentiating these elements from the other elements, right? But you can do that in other ways. In fact, as we said earlier, one of the most, well, not one of the most, the most powerful element in dashboard design is space. The use of space. You can, you know, it creates, so if you create a little bit of space, right, so, and again, the slicer should be kind of here, but if you just create a little bit of kind of a blank space between this and the other, that is enough for, you know, for humans that are really smart. Trust me, visually we are smart, right? I mean, yeah, I mean, it's our most powerful sense, sensory organ. So yeah, if you just put a little bit of space, it is going to differentiate itself. It's going to look differentiated to every single human. So yeah, you can just use space. So you can try that, right? I mean, you can say, you know what, I'm going to take the fill color out, and instead just, you know, obviously put them here, put them here, and then just leave some space around that. And if the space doesn't work, try a really faint line. And if the line doesn't work, then try a box, just a box around it. And if the box doesn't work, then try fill color. But trust me, it should never come to that, right? So yeah, fill color should be very rare. And again, I'm not saying don't do this, right? I mean, again, it's science plus art. So you have to try it, go with the best principles, and then, you know, you say, you know what, this is not working due to whatever, right? I mean, and then it's okay, right? So yep, I tried it, Avi, it didn't work, and that's good. That's good to go. And the same thing here. So if you cannot eliminate it, you have to de-emphasize it, which means what's the lightest shade that you can use, right? So eliminate or de-emphasize. Now the lines here, they are pretty de-emphasized, but I would say that, again, if you use the most important element in dashboard design, which is space, you would not need to use these lines. I guarantee it, right? A well-designed, careful, beautiful dashboard doesn't have that many lines, because again, it's just, yeah, it uses space. For example, and another thing that I would do here is what we had seen with Matthias's dashboard, and that was brilliant, right? So one of our managers, obviously every team has tasks and action items and all that stuff, right? And so we would be going through a meeting, and we would have a whole bunch of action items, and I would get 5, and I would say, hey, manager, what's the priority? Which one is the higher priority? And it's, oh, they're all P0, right? I mean, not even P1, they're all P0, right? They need to be done yesterday, right? But the challenge is, if everything is a priority, then nothing is a priority. And again, just we're gonna take a sidetrack just for a little bit. Think about it for your own life. We were talking about FOMO versus JOMO. For the person who's stuck in the FOMO land, bloody every fucking thing is a priority. No, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Success is not at the bottom of your to-do list. Look at the successful people. They didn't get there by getting to the bottom of the to-do list. So they say, oh yay, give me a reward. I had 10 items on my to-do list, or 100 items, and I did all of them. Who cares? Nobody cares, right? So if everything is a priority, nothing is a priority. That applies in your life. That applies in Power BI, dashboard, everything, right? So you have to be careful with the high-level numbers. If you put a lot of high-level numbers up there, and they're all, kind of like, so let's go to my dashboard here. That's not my dashboard. Oh, God, that is my dashboard, but with the horrible theme. Oh, God. Anyway, this doesn't have that many numbers, and that's okay. But if you start putting more numbers on there, like imagine this has like 7. I've seen people put 10 and 12, and they'll just kind of list them all here, and they all look the same. They're same font, and they're like right next to each other. Well, which one is more important? It's kind of crazy, right? So another thing that I would encourage is that see if you can find groupings here, which Matthias had done, right? So he had grouped these 3 together. How would he group them? Just by introducing space. Space is the simplest element and most powerful, right? And he had grouped these and he grouped these, which is good, which gives, again, you're a tour guide without being there. You're giving them a tour of a museum without necessarily being there, and because this gives them a break. It's like, oh, cool, I can enjoy these and then take a small break and then enjoy these, right? And then go into the detail if I need to, right? And again, we scan from, sorry, that was bad. Left to right, top to bottom, right? So we can go scanning, kind of going through the tour. Oops, not here. So another thing that I would like you to consider is, group these. Think about which ones belong here. And I'm not familiar with this subject area, portfolio cost. So which ones belong together? Like, I don't know, maybe these belong together, and that. So then you would just introduce a little bit of a white space between this and the next element. So try that. All right, so let's bring it home. Again, kind of visually, it's got really strong bones, as I talked about initially. It's got the high-level elements, breakdowns, trends, all of that. The use of color is nice. It's not like kind of blaring everything and fancy and like a so dashboards, at least operational dashboards, are not designed for the bling. They're designed to be effective. So this is good. I like that. I think with a little bit of layout changes and some of the other changes I talked about, this is going to really shine. And again, all of that is not the best part. The best part is that you took the step and you kind of shared your story, right, folks? So do good work, tell great stories, and we want this to be your launching platform. Whew! All right, that was awesome. I loved it. Juan, hey, Juan, good to have you here, mate. It would be good to discuss what insight users are trying to obtain from each dashboard. Yeah, so for this one, we have an advantage when our students present, and our students have presented some pretty phenomenal dashboards. There's one which I should really bookmark, which was by Matt Bracken, and man, I can't remember when it was. Maybe yeah. So and the advantage for that is we get the whole story. We get the whole story. I already said that. I'm trying to find when was that? I don't remember now. I'll just open a few. March, May. Shall I? I want to show that to you guys. Nope, this is not it. Yeah, Marianne links Jeff Anderson. And blood tracker. Oh God, I guess I couldn't find it. Oh, all right. Anyway, so yeah, they have more stories. All right, guys. So it's 11. Let's wrap up. Right? But again, if you're looking to join the Learn Power BI family, today is the last day of our general and open enrollment. Those who already joined this week, there have been quite a few. I don't know what to say. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that I get to serve you. And again, folks, this is all I do. I don't do anything else, right? I mean, my training, helping my students through the training is my focus. And of course, as I said earlier, I've decided that consulting, I'm only going to do it for free. Right? I'm going to do it in a setting where I can work with my students, help them anonymize the data if need to, and then work with them as a consultant, but record the whole thing so that I can keep it, put it in my course, put it in my program. And that way it helps hundreds, thousands. Yeah, so I'm really humbled that I get to serve you. I mean, frankly, I do talk about do good work, tell great stories. I really believe in that. But I think one of the key things that changed my life was taking the focus away from myself. Don't take this the wrong way, but I think a lot of us are fixated on ourselves. We can't get beyond us, me, I. And hey, I was exactly the same way. And it's not about being proud or anything. In fact, most of our fears are actually selfish fears. We are stuck in this fear that, I don't know this yet. I'm just starting out. I can't do this. Can I do this? No, I can't do this. I'm never gonna be good at this. A lot of this fear is just basically narcissism, right? That's, you're too much in love with yourself. And my life changed when I put that aside, right? But put it aside that how good you are and are you good enough or are you not. Stop that freaking BS, right? Just stop it. Like, how many times do you question yourself, your own self-worth in a day, in a month, in a year? It's enough, right? Just stop that and start thinking about others. And of course, I always say that don't think in like whatever 10, 100, thousands, whatever. I mean, you don't put a goal like that. I just think of one person. When I ran the scholarship, we're probably going to select 3 people, but I was just thinking I had like one person in mind. So the way I think is that, is there one person in the world out there that I can help, that you can help? Right? So again, stop this obsession with, am I good enough at DAX? Do I understand filter context? Oh, I don't know M yet. Blah, blah, all of that BS, right? Put that aside. All right? You know enough, my friend. You know enough. Just answer this question. Is there one person out there in this world that you can help? Yes or no? And guess what? Even if you just discovered Power BI yesterday, right? You don't even know Power BI. You just discovered it. You can help millions, right? You can help millions of those who have not discovered Power BI. I mean, come on, pick up the phone, find somebody in the street, I don't know, right? Keep the 6 feet distance, whatever, right? I mean, there's somebody you can go to and say, hey, have you heard about this tool? And they would go, no, I haven't. And you say, oh my God, I don't even know the tool yet, but I've seen enough to know that it's amazing. You have just helped somebody, right? And of course, we talk about DAX and stuff, but people get so much caught up in DAX. Now, this dashboard, and frankly, a lot of the dashboards, the first dashboards that I build for my clients, use 2 DAX functions, sum and count rows. That's it. And you can do magic with it, right? You can, again, help millions. so you can stay stuck in yourself. Be self-obsessed in your own fears and self-doubts. And you probably know that life already. But if you've had enough of that life, you're like, you know what? This kind of sucks, right? For one, I feel like shit, right? I feel awful, and I'm not getting results. It's the worst of both worlds. Let me just try this. Let me stop beating myself up, right? At least that will get better. And then I think what you're going to find is that once you shift the focus, the other thing, the success that I've been craving and trying out all these different things, working hard, learning more, it starts to show itself. It starts to, just walk into your life. And you know, you don't even understand, like, wow, what did I do? Well, you stopped obsessing about yourself. All right, folks, so we're going to end there. So again, learnpowerbi.com. Go there, at the top bar, put in the email address. That is to get your invite for the course. And once you do that, it gives you all the information. It gives you the sign-up page, the pricing, the different pricing options, what's in the course, the table of contents, the way we run it, all of the bonuses, and all that stuff. You get access to all of that. Read through that. Tonight is the deadline. Friday night it closes, we'll be welcoming our new students after that. So that's that. If you are in a situation where you're down and out, right? I mean, you're in a spot where you could not potentially, you're looking for some help, then consider the scholarship. So just go to learnpowerbi.com/scholarship. But the thing is that we're doing it for the first time in this manner, scholarship and mentorship. So it's going to be a small program. We've already had quite a few applications. We're going to have to look through carefully. Again, you're still in the running. Don't let that discourage you. If you need the help, then I would strongly encourage you to go submit the application. I'll be reviewing these over the weekend and reaching out to some of the folks. I think since this is not just a scholarship, this is scholarship plus mentorship, we want to really start off with the right group. So I think we're going to reach out to maybe five or six folks next week. And I would actually try to meet with them virtually, of course, on a Zoom call, and talk to them before we select kind of the final three. So that's to expect on that end. All right, guys. So that's it for me this time. I'll catch you next Friday on the next Talk Power BI. Until then, power on.